I'm an Indian American.
I am a Chinese American.
We are both Filipino Americans.
I was born in Beijing.
My parents are from Hong Kong.
We came here for our Asian American dreams. We celebrate the diverse culture here. We found true belongings and raised our families here. We work hard and contribute to this country. As a grassroots media entrepreneur, I'm inspired by so many great stories. I'm passionate about bringing people together and tell Asian American stories. We all belong right here.
Thank you, President, and thank you, everyone. At this moment, I would like to invite our speakers to the stage. And yes, Javier Bahatia, Beth Molina, and Jonathan Ishii. Yes, please come and join me here. It's going to be a panel discussion, so we're going to put it here. Today, we're going to talk about diversity, equity, inclusion of Asian Americans. Such an honor for me. On my way, I'm driving to Rotary Club. I think about all these years. As a member, I joined Rotary Club in 2010, sponsored by Dr. Shinko. I feel it's such an honor and privilege for me. I found the belongings here. Even though I'm a super busy entrepreneur, every day is like fighting it. Lots of meetings and lots of things. But every time I come here, I find the belongings. It's like a pot, but I know that I'm different and many of us are different, but we all find the belongings. So today we're going to be talking about, it's not a melting pot, it's a salad ball. With that, I'm going to introduce the speakers here today. The lady next to me is my dear friend, Javier Bahatia. You probably know her. And she's a remarkable civic entrepreneur. Currently holds the position of CEO and President of Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce. With a diverse background in high-tech, entrepreneurship, public sector leadership, community development, and many other talents, she brings a unique set of skills to her role. And Javier also served as the board of Santa Clara Rotary and the president of Santa Clara Library Foundation. Let's give our hand to Javier. Thank you. And next one is Beverly Molina. And Bev has been a firefighter for Santa Clara Fire Department for 22 years. She's currently working as a special assignment as Fire Department's Community Engagement, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity Officer, exactly the one that should speak on this panel. And she received the Firefighter of the Year award in 2010, and she's also awarded for her inspiration and a positive attitude. She's the author of the book, Brave and Awake. She also explores her mixed heritage from Taiwanese father and German mother. Yes, let's give a hand to that. Thank you, Beth. The last speaker is Jonathan Ishii. Jonathan Ishii is a Japanese American. He dedicated professionally with a background in education and commitment to making a positive impact. He began his career as an elementary and middle school teacher. Motivated by a desire to contribute to the field of education, he transitioned into the education technology where he worked as a senior manager. He served at NASA Eclipse Education Board and Mission City Federation Credit Union Board. He's also the proud first-generation college graduate in his family. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, okay, whenever we talk, we stand up. Okay, thank you. So we're talking about this EDI. So as an Asian, what do diversity, equity, and inclusion mean to you? Fabia, please.
But thank you. It's really exciting to be here, and I gotta tell you, this is one of the clubs that I get the pleasure and honor to come to visit often. And it's really nice to see so many faces in the room that I feel like have become part of my extended Rotary family. So thank you for allowing me to be here again. Question?
What does equity, diversity, inclusion to you as an Asian?
As an Asian. What does it mean to me? I would say, because we have to keep it short, DEI itself can be very easily glanced over, because I think if you think of DEI as just, oh yeah, you're trying to get more people that look different to come to your clubs or your organizations or your companies. But for me as an Asian, what it means is my opportunity to bring the best of myself, my whole self, to either my workplace, to my organization, to any organization, or volunteer work that I do. And I make an extra effort to bring the best of what I have been able to gain from both cultures, being an Asian American, which is Asian and American, to make this place the best it can be. So for me, it's simply to be able to bring my whole self to whatever I participate in. Thank you.
Thank you so much, yes. When we saw that video I played, and that's a project we started from last year, telling Asian American stories, because during the pandemic, there are so many Asian kids. So I feel like, we need to tell our stories, because for me, I grew up in a very traditional family. We are trained not to tell our stories. When you're successful, you need to be humble. You don't want to talk about it. And when you're in a bad shape, you need to be quiet, hide away from all the others. So we never tell our stories, but telling our stories is so important. So today I'm going to have each one of them to share their stories. So Beth, you choose the career that most women won't choose. The firefighter is, we think it's quite dangerous. So I want you to share your stories where you had to face the challenges regarding to your identity, and how do you handle the situation?
Thank you, Cupertino Rotary Club, for having me here. Again, this is so special. Thank you for having us on this panel. So the question is challenges, and in my career, so I'm a firefighter, been a firefighter for 22 years. We have 140 firefighters in the city, and 9 of us are women. The national numbers, 5% of firefighters are women in the United States. So it is, a hard career to get into. And, if you had asked my 10-year-old self if I was going to be a firefighter one day, I would have laughed, because I don't think I had even seen a woman firefighter at that point. What I want to say is, the world is changing, and back in the day there were lots of fires, and that's all there were. And the fire department was made up of volunteers of the town. It was mostly the men, and they were putting out the fires in town. Well, let's fast forward to now. We have building construction, that we have fireproof and fire-resistant building construction. There are a lot less fires. There still are fires, but the fire emergency profession has gone into the medical industry. So we respond to medical calls, as you all know. So there's more room for lots of talent and gifts to bring. So we serve the entire community. So our fire department, we need to represent the community so that we can be better servants in the community. And fire service is coming along. We're learning that slowly but surely, that the diversity that we display helps when we go out into the community to help everyone.
Thank you, Beth. Alison, I know that you are gay. We Asian family are very traditional. We're not easy at all. But as a Asian gay, is especially difficult. So how did you tell your parents and share with us your story?
So that is a great question. I first feel like that's a date question. I'm just kidding. The question was coming from a traditional family, right? So some of you may know there's a word in English and in Japanese, so we say hapa or hafu. It means half. So I'm also half Japanese American. My mother's from Mexico, so I'm also Mexican American as well. I am the first in my family to graduate from the university and to even go on to pursue a master's degree. So this is like groundbreaking. And now think about adding a little bit of the gay extra spice is what I call it, right, to the flavor of that. And oh my goodness, and on top of that, so I come from a multi-ethnic family and a multi-religious family. So my dad is Christian, right? Mother is very devout Catholic, traditional Mexican Catholic. And, right, so now coming out as gay, I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this now? And I studied at Loyola Marymount University, so it's a Catholic institution. And I was a little bit scared, right, because of that. And I was like, when would be the right time to come out? And how do I do this? And, what does that look like? And just like Diane mentioned, it's not for a family who's never had someone in the family circle who's gay, right? And I was the first one out, I would say, from my family network. It's scary because you don't know anybody. And so being gay was something that I had to, you don't always see in the media, and like the media doesn't always portray a multiracial gay, but I literally tell my partner, I'm one of a kind. You can't get me anywhere. So with that, it's really showing, family that, I think for my mother it took a while to get there because of the Catholic portion of it and the Christian portion of it. Whereas my dad, having family in the internment camp and now being here and celebrating our traditions here, it was a little bit easier. For me, I was kind of scared. I thought it was going to be the opposite, because my mother was, very open and just everything, but it took her a while to get there. Now after traveling with my partner that Diane has met, it's been amazing just to see the journey, because I remember I slowly kind of started. I didn't go that extreme. I brought her in. I was like, let's go travel. Let's go up to Northern California, go to visit. So I kind of sprinkled in San Francisco. I did little small things and took steps, and said, there's a bunch of people that you probably know that are gay, but that are also maybe not out, or that they're completely out. And so in the Mexican culture, it's very traditional, also conservative as well. But I would say for Asian Americans too, because when you say you're gay, they'll often ask me, "Who's your wife? How many kids do you have? You're a teacher. You must love kids." And I do love kids, but that's another conversation, right? Is kids, family, and so it did take some coming around to the town to get there. But one of the greatest things is that surely, little by little, in that exposure, that really helped out with family, and even introducing, bringing my partner to Thanksgiving. Because when you come over to Thanksgiving in our house, it's your traditional turkey ham with sushi, tamales. So it's one of the greatest things. I'm very, very, very proud to celebrate with my family and my partner and bring that in there.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you. Well, we got to know each other during the community service, and Beth and Harvey and working with me for the Lunar New Year Together celebration. And this is something I learned from our Rotary Club. I learned how to work with diverse community, diverse leaders, and like Aurin, Hung, Shin Kong, many of you are my mentor, Beth Lanningham. So I really enjoy working with our diverse community. And I really enjoy working with Harvey too, because she is really hot, I would say, sometimes so sharp. But I really, you feel like she's very genuine, very direct, and sharp and genuine. So for you, the first time I heard this is from you. It's not melting pot, it's Salabo. First time I heard this is from Harvey. So from your experience, especially as a Sikh, how do you explain, how do you see the difference between the melting pot and the Salabo?
Thank you. So I'm so excited that she thought I was hot and then she said that. She was being kind when you started about being direct because I kind of like cracked the whip. So I'm definitely not a gentle butterfly inside. But as a Sikh, but I'm also an Indian, I'm also Punjabi, I'm also South Asian, I'm also Asian, and like you, I studied German and I studied Japanese. I have no idea why. But my dad always taught us that the more languages you know, the more cultures you know, the more exciting, informed, and enriching your life is. So for me, growing up in Detroit and Ohio, both you can understand how not diverse that was. And recently I learned about, February is Black History Month, and I recently learned about how Detroit and automobiles and empowered the African American community, the Black community, and that was a place where we had a lot of African Americans because they came for work soon after Juneteenth. And so that was the only thing we knew as diversity. And then you could go to Dearborn for lots of great Arabic food. So that was our options. So we got a lot of good food. So this is a little bit of a joke, but we were so adamant to maintain our identity, and it might have been because I'm a Sikh, I'm not sure exactly, it just kind of comes with the territory. And we really made an effort to enrich ourselves by learning about others, but at the same time holding on to what we knew. So we said we have two hands, so why would I only go with one thing? Why wouldn't I enrich my life and learn more? And so the whole concept of salad bowl was actually said when I was young, so it's not that I'm the person who came up with that. But I definitely related to it, and it still somehow never became a powerful enough or adopted enough phrase. So we kind of took it and ran with it and kind of changed it, said it's not a melting pot, it's a salad bowl, because we come together with our qualities, our characteristics, to make something even more delicious, because food brings us together. So I don't think life would be exciting at all if we were all mushed into fondue and cheese. I love cheese, you can tell. And so that does not mean being of mixed heritage is bad. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is not to feel that you have to give it up. So that's what it means to me. And as a Sikh, celebrating diversity and equality is kind of the fundamentals of who you are. And if you don't, then you're kind of not a good Sikh, and I don't want to get that label. So my whole life has been about how do I work with the world, but I am the one who actually got more out of it. We were told by volunteering, you truly are part of the bigger salad bowl, the community. But you bring yourself to it, so together you make something new. And I want to add, if I may, this also includes religion. And you brought this up, and I think we forget that sometimes. I'm now the co-chair for the International Religious Freedom Roundtable for the IRF Secretariat in DC. And we're trying to help people realize that we've got to see diversity outside of just race, but really each of us is truly diverse. Because we've got to stop thinking of differences as a reason to feel different about each other, rather than the differences are the one thing that we all have in common. Whether you are from the same race, whether you're from the same religion, there are no two people that are alike. So how do we celebrate all that it is us? And I think we have to do that by recognizing that we all are enriched by many stories, so we ourselves as an individual aren't even a melting pot. We can attribute our foods, our culture, our tastes in friends, our taste in music, and all those things are what make you you, and it would be so impossible for you to not be you. So you should never be a melting pot, whether it's America, whether it's as an individual. Maintain what makes us special. And in my case, I have many identities, as each of you do. So let's not let the differences make the difference, but recognize the one thing we all have in common is that each of us is different. Exactly.
we are different, but we see our common ground, which is really very valuable. Yes, Beth, it's truly my honor and our honor to have you, because in my eyes, our firefighters are really truly the heroes for our community. We've been working together for Lunar New Year together. Beth is the one that's working really, really hard. Earliest to arrive and latest to leave. So I have learned a lot from each one of you. That's really great. And continue with Harriet's, what she just mentioned. How can each culture of us retain our own identity, but still add the flavor to the whole to the United States?
Margaret, that was an excellent. I love what you said, so I'm just going to piggyback on this question and what Javier said. So I am the daughter of immigrants. My father immigrated from Taiwan. My mother is from Germany, and they both came here as students in college and met in the middle of the country in Kansas. They got married, moved to Idaho. We're teaching at the University of Idaho. Both of them were teachers. My dad taught physics, my mom taught English. And they moved to Utah, where my sister and I were born. My dad was offered a job in the just newly emerging Silicon Valley, and so we moved here when I was 5 years old. So I really felt the whole time I was growing up so lucky to be part of the East and part of the West. In some summers we would go to Germany and visit my mom's relatives. Other summer vacations we would go to Asia, and it was a completely different world to see the fish markets in Asia and just a different lifestyle. And I felt so fortunate growing up that I had these two perspectives of the world. And so yes, Javier, to what you said, it never felt like a melting pot within me. It felt like, oh yes, these beautiful pieces coming together in one person. And so I do think it's possible. I feel like I'm a living example, just in my own experience, to be able to embody differences, and they're not competing. That one is not better than the other. They're just different, and it enriches, my own life experience. So I hope that that's something that, the world, that we slowly come together and see that our differences are really what makes us stronger. I know in the schools, when I was little, there was a lot of talk, and I resonated with it because my parents immigrated here, that, this was the country where people come because of the opportunity and the land of the free, and this country was welcoming to all immigrants. And so I'm really hoping that we kind of get back to that. I'm not sure if that little bit has been lost to the children of today, but it really informs the way I grew up.
Jonathan, this question is for you, Jonathan. I think that you probably have the difficulties talking to someone about sexuality. How do you handle the situation? And for someone who don't think and don't see the value of equity inclusion?
That is a great question. So just to clarify, it's like someone not understanding my identity. Got it. That is a great question. I think it's two things. I really firmly believe, and just like what those speakers mentioned, but I also believe in this too. Food brings people together, and I really think celebrating different foods is so important. And just like when you think of a Christmas tree, you go anywhere, like for example at the shopping mall, you will see a beautiful Christmas tree decorated with not just one color, but different colors, ornaments, different things on there, right? And I think that's the important part, is when you get to be truly bright, authentic, and then here comes the gay part, really, where it glows and it's just super bright and it's glitter and everything, right? Because that's what makes it really exciting, right? Especially when you see a movie, a show, you're seeing everything, all the work that goes into it. And I think for me personally, one of the things that was very hard was, one, being fully authentic. And when I first started teaching, I wasn't obviously wearing heels or wearing sachet. I wasn't. What you see, this is actually my teacher outfit, I would say. So one is the best thing about being a teacher, and even in the space that I am now, serving on a board, is being fully authentic and allowing the opportunity for everybody to get to know you. Because when I first came out, I was very scared. I don't want people to think of me differently. I want people to still treat me for who I am, for the career, the profession I am. And sometimes it's sad because, there are people in education who don't, who will still say, well, I don't think having a gay male should be the one teaching middle school. And I kind of surprised that person didn't know I was gay. And, would always ask, what are you going to go down? I would just say, oh, I'm going down for the holidays for my family. So I would never say, I'm going with my partner. He is, I would always try and make it very generic at the very beginning because I was afraid of what they would think of me or what they would look at me as differently, right? Especially at a time where just recently, like 2008, it was legal for someone to get married for who they love. And that's not that far away when we think about it. So now to be able to see that, and after my first year teaching, I made a decision. I was like, one, I'm going to be very authentic, and I will be very true to who I am. And ever since then, that always stayed with me. And it's been amazing to see my students now who are in high school and now at the universities. And I have one that's going to be a sophomore at the university actually. And it's really great to see that because the relationships that I build, they will still constantly, celebrate and we'll talk about birthdays and we add each other on Facebook. So still being in touch really made an impact, not only on me personally, but on my career as well. Because I feel like in education, that's the very special opportunities is to really build relationships. And being on the board with NASA and really getting the opportunity to serve as an education perspective on there was really exciting because one, we talked about how do we support all students from different abilities, languages, cultures, but also even we talked about how do we make it diverse. When we talk about Pride Month in June, how do we show that with NASA? And there have been so many scientists, so many educators who have contributed to the technologies that we are benefiting now that have come from different places of the world who've also celebrated being truly authentic, being gay, being LGBT, right? I say there's a big alphabet in there. There's an LGBTQI, I call it the alphabet soup, right? Because there's so many identities out there, and it's how do we celebrate that in education? How do we celebrate that in the professional development, in schools, in our careers, and just being able to see that, I think, makes a big impact. Because, somebody told me, if you did not come out, there might be a student who's maybe questioning, or a parent who might know somebody, and who are they going to talk to? And so I just think about me when I was growing up, like the 7-year-old me. If I would have seen somebody just like me, who was gay, who was not what you would see, like for example, this is a crazy one, I say RuPaul. I'm not necessarily RuPaul, and for you who may not know who RuPaul is, there is a drag queen. And so that's also been a big topic in education. And so being able to see someone in government, like I always use the example of Ken Yeager. Ken Yeager in our Santa Clara County, an amazing leader, has done remarkable stuff. And seeing that, and how we can also, I say we as a community, can take a look and really empower, but inspire and amplify those voices are truly important.
Thank you.
I wish we could go on. I feel like each one of these people could be the whole program for our meeting. If you could wrap it up, Diana, and maybe if the speakers would mind staying a little after in case people have questions to ask you, would that be okay? Okay, Diana.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I know it's how time flies. Okay, so be authentic, true to who you are, and always see good things about our community and other people, and respect each other and celebrate the difference, accept the difference. I think that there are so many things that we can learn from each other. And thank you so much, and thanks to our speakers. And right now we can open the Q&A If you have questions, raise up your hand and
We can't take.
oh, we cannot,
as
yes.
a group.
But Carvia has a few words and she wants
Okay.
to. Yeah.
So I think this is something that's so relevant right now with the dynamics that are happening in our United States, that sometimes make us feel we're getting divided. But I want to remind us on some of the basics of what brought this nation together and what creates this beautiful room of individuals. The Declaration of Independence is something that my family or I are very big fans of, but not for the political fun reasons, but truly what the words say. And it starts out with explaining why there are rights through law. But as you all have heard many times, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, and the driving their powers from the governed. I wanted to just bring this up to remind us we all belong, but we have to be remembering why this nation was made versus others, because it was not just 200-year, 50-year history. It is a response to dictatorship, response to monarchy of Europe at that time that brought us together. So we don't forget that, because that is why this country is so amazing, because we stay true to these values. So we all truly belong here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give a hand for all of our speakers. Thank you, Diana, for bringing us such a great program today. Thank you so much. I have a speaker gift for all of you. This year, my speaker gift, I don't know if you've ever seen, this is a Tutu desk. Desmond Tutu started a campaign for literacy and basic education in Africa. And so we're sponsoring some desks to provide to children in South Africa. We'll be sponsoring one of these desks in each of your names, and I have a certificate for you. So thank you so much again for your time. I really think we could have made a whole program out of each one of you, and I thank you again for coming today. So I'm going to ask you guys to autograph this, and then I have a certificate and information about the program. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam President.
Wrap up our
Thank you, our Rotary. Thank you so much.